I would like a question answered, because in the documentaries, in the movies, in the series, Prison Break, you hear that, if you're a paedophile or you've sexually assaulted a woman or whatever, you're like target numero uno, like you're fucked. Is that as prevalent and as severe as they say? I mean, if you've gone in there as a paedophile, are you just you're done?
Yeah, you're kind of like just waiting for the inevitable to happen, really. If you're a paedophile, and probably a lot of people would thank me for saying that, but anyone who's probably still working in the service now, if you're like, well, no, that's true. And if you get a paedophile come in, they're running scared. They're obviously telling all the other prison they're locked up with that they're in for something else.
Yeah.
So they're obviously telling them they're in for fraud, which is usually the first thing that would come into somebody's mind. Mm-hmm. But paedophiles are prevalent in jail, and sometimes they will have to go in a kind of like general prisons, but there are dedicated sex offenders prisons, but you would get the odd one or two that would come up into the jail that I was working in, yeah.
And what was that? See, that obviously it's for some reason, it's almost a controversial thing, even though I mean, paedophiles, they're probably the paedophiles and rapists, let's be brutally honest, are like the lowest of the fucking low, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's almost, well, it pisses me off that they would have special treatment to have their own fucking wings. At the end of the day, you've gone to prison for what you've done wrong, and to not be mollycoddled, but to have special treatment, especially for something as deplorable as that is that's fucking ridiculous. But what would happen for those that, shall we say, aren't fucking lucky enough to have the special treatment to be put on these wings, so the ones that are in with the riff-raff?
Yeah, like one that obviously springs to mind straight away was a guy used to lock up, and he was an ex-public school boy headmaster. I know it sounds really sort of stereotypical, but he was, and this guy was just in complete denial, and you could just tell from the off that he had absolutely no remorse that he'd done to these young guys, which is, I know you said yourself it's pretty dark and that's not very nice to speak about, but this guy just had absolutely no remorse, and he spoke very well, like the typical stereotypical headmaster.
Yeah.
This particular day, I'm sat in a wing office, I'm on the computer doing manager paperwork, and this guy comes up to the office door, and he said, knocks on the door, quite polite. I'm like, yeah, what's up? He went, I've just been attacked. So like this, I went, and obviously, a paedophile or a sex offender, even though you've got to be professional as a prison officer, you've still got that niggling conscience down in your mind that you haven't got no time for this fucker.
Yeah.
So he's there, and he's like, I've just been attacked. And I probably just look at him, and I can't hide the contempt I've got in my face for this guy. And I'm like, what's happened then? He went, well, I've been attacked by a group of boys. And I'm like, look, there's no boys on this wing. Everyone is a man on this wing, Stop referring to, because that's the whole kind of like weird.
Yeah.
Which I kind of want to stand by this guy. And he's like, well, I've just been attacked. I went, well, I said, I can't see a mark on you. He said, well, I don't think they could have been terribly fucking bright, these boys, because they stuck a plastic bin over my head and were punching the bin.
Fucking knob.
And I'm like, okay. I said, if they're punching you out of the bin over your head, you're not going to be able to identify them, are you? He's like, well, I know exactly who they are. I said, how do you know who they are? You can't identify these people. I said, I'm not prepared to do anything about it. He said, well, I know what you should do. You should get these boys and split them up like I used to. I said, look, we've been over this. They're not boys. Don't refer to them as boys.
Yeah.
I said, what do you want me to do about it? And he said, well, I've just told you what I want you to do. I said, I'm not prepared to act on the information you've just given me.
Uh-huh.
So he goes back upstairs. All the prisoners are out of association and walking in and out of each other's cells, playing pool, darts, all that good stuff. 10 minutes later, I'm on the computer, and this guy comes back down to the office again, quite polite, knocks on the door again. And he went, I've just been attacked again. And I'm kind of like, I'm busy. I've lost my patience for this guy, but I'm looking at the computer screen, and he's like in my right peripheral.
Yeah.
And I like turn around and snap at him. I say, I've told you earlier. And as I looked at him, this guy's got a detached retina. and his eye is basically hanging down his fucking cheek.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, and this guy's obviously in shock because he's come at the office door completely calm, and his eyes completely fucking hanging out. And, you know, as kind of selfish as it seems, you think, fuck me, this guy's come down here, he said something earlier about being reported.
Right, yeah.
How is this going to fucking come back on me or the prison system?
Yeah.
You know, but you kind of like document everything you've done. He gave no evidence of being attacked. And this guy actually, I think he ended up losing partial sight out of his eye for this. But you imagine like the gruesome of like a fucking horror movie of somebody's eye hanging out. And the wires, if you like, are hanging there. And that's a thought that really won't sort of fucking leave me, to be honest.
Yeah.
At least it warms my blood.
To be fair,
it was it was him.
No, it was like in a horror film.
Like remorse,
the guy's a paedophile, you don't really care, do you?
Yeah.
I'm sure the psychological damage and physical damage will pale in comparison to what he's done to his victims. So.
Wouldn't you pass out from that though?
Sure, it depends. Shock's very strange, isn't it? Very strange. You can. The fact that he's walked to a fucking door and politely going, I've been attacked again.
Yeah, I've had my arm snapped, bone hanging out, dangling on, and just completely conscious. So
it's very fun. So that's that's what did you find out like how it came to be detected? Like, was he smacked over the head with a pool cue? Or?
They just pummeled this guy, really, you know.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know he was a paedophile. They didn't find out he was a paedophile. But I'm not saying this guy was wandering around a wing looking like Jimmy Savile, but
he
looked like a paedophile, you know. He looked like a paedophile. So I think they kind of put two and two together and thought, fuck it, let's just do an educated guess and let's have this guy, you know.
Yeah. Was there any other examples of, you know, people like that?
You used to get like people that are in for like cruelty to children.
Yeah.
You know, they're beating up children, and I mean, like as young as babies, which is absolutely horrific.
Yeah. That's like it's so hard to detach from that. Because it fucking makes my blood boil, especially having kids. I mean, fair play for even, just like it's
just like someone like that, like you know, like as you see, like probably on Porridge, where the guys have got like the pastry, models and stuff. They've known paedophiles before get like the pastry model and get like an Argos catalogue of a child and put it over it's fucking horrendous, isn't it? You know, it's just absolutely awful. You know, and obviously the prison staff will be taking that down.
Yeah.
They will be placing these guys on report, and then when it comes to their probation hearing,
they'll be fine.
They're doing things like that. They're still a fucking threat. So these guys will be coming out, you know. But like I used to work with staff, you know, like at the time where they'd have like newborn babies and they're logging up these horrible sex offenders, and I'm working with these guys and they're like saying to me, oh, you got a minute? I'm like, yeah, what's up? They went, I was bathing my daughter last night and I just had to fucking stop. I'm like, why, what's up? Because he said, you know, because of that twat on here, you know. He said, couldn't get out of my head. That's, you know, even everyone who says in any work of life, don't ever take your work home, but
it must be so hard.
Retrospect, it's hard to like leave that at the gate, you know.
Yeah.